You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 30th of May. Operation Sindoor is India's frontal assault against terrorism, says India's Defence Minister. Nepali royalists launch fresh protest for restoration of monarchy. And breaking barriers, 17 women cadets pass out from National Defence Academy with pride. And now for all the details. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh visited Goa for the flag-in ceremony of INS Veer Tarini and to aboard India's first indigenously built aircraft carrier, INS Vikrant, on Friday. Singh also reviewed the operational readiness and praised the Navy's role in neutralizing threats during the operation. Speaking during his visit to INS Vikrant, deployed in the Arabian Sea, he warned Pakistan, stating that had the Navy joined the forces in combating Pakistan during Operation Sindoor, Pakistan would have been divided into 4 parts.
1971 1971 इसका गवाह है कि जब इंडियन नेवी हरकत में आई थी वह 1 से 2 हो गया था। मैं पाकिस्तान की बात कर रहा हूं। जब हमारी इंडियन नेवी हरकत में आई थी तो पाकिस्तान 1 से 2 हो गया था। अगर ऑपरेशन सिंदूर में भारतीय नौसेना अपनी फॉर्म में आई होती तो पाकिस्तान के 2 टुकड़े ही न होते, बल्कि मैं समझता हूं शायद 4 टुकड़े हो जाते।
The Indian Navy's carrier battle group, led by INS Vikrant, played a crucial role in maintaining maritime advancement during Operation Sindoor, which focused on keeping Pakistan's naval forces tucked in their harbours. The 45,000-ton warship INS Vikrant is a symbol of India's growing naval power. Made using indigenous equipment and machinery, it is the largest ship ever built in India's maritime history. It was deployed on 2nd of September in 2022 in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. As the Indian parliamentary delegation continued its diplomatic outreach, lawmaker Shashi Tharoor on Thursday justified India's decision to put the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance. He emphasized that the treaty was offered to Pakistan in a spirit of goodwill and harmony, but Pakistan has repeatedly betrayed that goodwill. Speaking in Bogota, Colombia, Tharoor noted that despite decades of terrorism and conflict inflicted upon India, the treaty has remained operational. However, the current Indian government has now suspended the treaty's operations. Tharoor stated that India has been a generous neighbor in upholding the treaty, but the time for unilateral goodwill has passed. He added that the treaty's operations will remain suspended until Pakistan provides satisfactory assurances of conducting itself in the spirit of goodwill outlined in the treaty's preamble.
Was one that was offered by India to Pakistan in early 1960s in a spirit of goodwill and harmony. In fact, those words occur in the preamble of the treaty. Sadly, that goodwill has been repeatedly betrayed by the terrorist actions of the last 4 decades. Even though we have had terrorism and war inflicted on us, the treaty has remained in place. But this time, our government has placed the treaty in abeyance, which means it is in effect suspended. Its operations are suspended until such time as we get satisfactory indication from Pakistan that they are prepared to conduct themselves in that spirit of goodwill that is provided for in the preamble of the treaty.
Meanwhile, India's Home Minister Amit Shah visited Poonch district in India's Jammu and Kashmir on Friday to assess the situation in the border region. During his visit, Shah met with families affected by recent Pakistani shelling and distributed appointment letters to the next of kin of civilians killed in the attacks. Addressing a gathering in the region hardest hit by the shelling, Shah condemned the actions of Pakistani forces. He stated that the Indian Armed Forces delivered a fitting response by destroying 9 Pakistani air bases, forcing Pakistan to seek a ceasefire. Shah praised Operation Sindoor, launched in the aftermath of the Pahalgam terror attack, describing India's actions on May 7 as a befitting reply to terrorists on behalf of Indian citizens, resulting in the elimination of hundreds of terrorists. And days after the cessation of military hostilities between New Delhi and Islamabad, Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif on Thursday publicly admitted the failure of Pakistani military assets in preventing Indian strikes. Sharif, who is on a four-nation tour for expressing gratitude and supporting Islamabad during the recent conflict with India, made the admission during his address at an event in Azerbaijan. He said following the escalation of tensions between both nations, Pakistani forces were preparing for an attack on India in early hours of May 10. He said the Pakistani actions were supposed to start after the morning 4 a.m. prayers. However, India in a preempt action struck the military installations in missile attacks. BrahMos hit Pakistan's various provinces, including airport in Rawalpindi and other places, Sharif admitted. This is the second such instance when Sharif has admitted Indian action made significant damages to Pakistani forces and their assets in Operation Sindoor. Earlier, Pakistani senator had also questioned the capability of military forces, questioning how the Indian missiles targeted Noor Khan Air Base, which is close to Pakistan Army General Headquarters and capital Islamabad, without any resistance from Pakistani air defense. However, despite the admission of Pakistan military failure by Sharif himself, the government earlier this month promoted Pakistani Army Chief to Field Marshal rank. Meanwhile, Pakistani military has said New Delhi and Islamabad are close to reducing the troop build-up along their border to level before the conflict erupted this month. Talking to Reuters, Pakistan's chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Sahir Shamshad Mirza, said the two militaries had started the process of drawing down troop levels. He, however, warned any conflict in future would come down to whole of Pakistan and India.
Raju, this was, I would say, an escalatory war which has downgraded or which has lowered the threshold. And when I say it has lowered the threshold, previously, we used to be confined to the disputed territory. This time it has been in the international border. And now in the future even, it will not be restricted to the disputed territory. It would come down to whole of India and whole of Pakistan.
Moving on, Baloch activists across Europe this week marked the anniversary of Pakistan's 1998 nuclear test as Black Day, staging protests in major cities. They allege the test caused lasting health and environmental damage in Balochistan, and Pakistan must be held accountable.
Several pro-freedom Baloch groups gathered across Europe this week to protest against Pakistan's 1998 nuclear blasts in Balochistan. Rallies were held against Pakistan in London, Germany, Finland and the Netherlands over alleged human rights violations and health crisis caused by the tests in 1998. Protesters carried placards urging global organizations to dismantle Pakistan's nuclear weapons, and with strong messages such as Pakistan must stop human rights violations in Balochistan, Baloch Lives Matter and China is co-involved in Baloch genocide.
Today we gather here. This is the anniversary of nuclear bombs, where the Pakistanis used a nuclear bomb in 1998 in Balochistan. So each year, Baloch people in different parts of the world or in Balochistan, they remember this horrible day because the Pakistani establishment, the Punjabi establishment of Pakistan, used Balochistan to test their nuclear bombs.
And every organization that claims to care about human rights and environmental justice, we ask them two questions. First, where were you on 28 May 1998? And more importantly, the second question, where are you now? We are dying of cancer. We are dying of diseases which we haven't heard about.
On May 28, 1998, Pakistan tested 6 nuclear bombs in the Chaghai area of Balochistan, which led to severe aftermath in the region. Baloch people have been protesting for years against Pakistan's nuclear tests that has not just led people suffering from chronic diseases, but also turned the testing areas into barren lands, depriving people of their livelihood.
Moving on, Nepal is witnessing a renewed political friction as royalist fractions have launched fresh protests demanding the restoration of monarchy. In response, the ruling CPN-UML is also rallying in support of the republic.
Nepali royalists have launched a new phase of protests for the restoration of monarchy, which on the first day from Thursday saw participation of hundreds on the streets of Kathmandu. Encouraged by rising frustration with the incumbent system, the royalist group of about 40 different factions led by Rastriya Prajatantra Party, the 5th largest party in the lower house of parliament, has been demanding restoration of the Hindu kingdom, abolition of federalism, and a directly elected prime ministerial system. Restoration of constitutional monarchy has been their key demand. The RPP has also been taking part in periodic elections and presenting its demands forth. The Himalayan nation of Nepal has a population of 30.55 million, out of which Hindus account for 81.19%, as per the census of 2022.
एउटा मुटु भराएको छौं हामी 100 कोटी नेपालीको एउटै मुटु हुन्छ त्यही मुटु जोडिकिन राजाको मुकुट बनिन्छ भनेर.
The ruling CPN-UML also held a counter-protest in defense of the republic, the political system adopted by Nepal in 2008. The ruling party under the leadership of Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli organized a march in Kathmandu on the occasion of the country's Republic Day. In the wake of possible tensions, the local administration had designated 2 different areas and timings for the 2 groups. But the royalist forces attempted to block the roadways for the parading cadres of the ruling parties amid tight security.
जनता आफै शासित बनेको दिन भएको हुनाले नेकपा एमालेले आज गणतन्त्र दिवसलाई र उत्सवको रूपमा मनाइरहेको छ र म सम्पूर्ण दाजुभाइ दिदीबहिनी र आमाबुवाहरूलाई गणतन्त्री राज्य व्यवस्थालाई सुदृढ गर्न संस्थागत गर्न र गणतन्त्रको पक्षमा आवाजहरू बुलन्दन गर्नको निम्ति म यो गणतन्त्र दिवसको सन्दर्भमा सबैलाई आह्वान गर्न चाहन्छु.
And against the stirring notes of Auld Lang Syne and the majestic Sahyadri Hills as a backdrop, 17 female cadets marched into history on Friday, graduating from the National Defence Academy. A total of 339 cadets participated in the passing out parade, reviewed by Mizoram Governor and former Chief of Army Staff, General V.K. Singh, marking the culmination of their challenging 3-year training. Hailing it as a historic movement, General Singh praised the women cadets as a symbol of Nari Shakti. This embodies not just women's development, but women-led development, the reviewing dignitary declared. The 148th course, which welcomed female cadets for the first time, began training in 2022.
It is just amazing. It is very good feeling as of now. Being an ex-NDA, for last 3 years we've always been dreaming that one day will definitely come when we'll pass out. I'll also pass through Antim Pag, and then I'll stand with my parents in front of Sudan before joining this very building. Used to be my motivation, and now I stand before it, and it is just amazing to be an ex-NDA.
Nestled in the Western Ghats, the NDA is known as the cradle of military leadership. Cadets are assigned to different services and undergo 3 years of rigorous training, graduating with BSc, BA or BTech degrees. After passing out from NDA, they proceed to their respective service academies for pre-commissioning training. Initially an on-rail institution, the NDA opened its gates to female cadets in 2022, following a 2021 Supreme Court ruling allowing women to apply for the NDA entrance exam. Since then, 126 female cadets have joined the premier military academy across 6 batches.
जब पता चला कि 75 साल बाद एनडीए खुल रहा है तो ऐतिहासिक मोमेंट तो था ही उसमें, पर उस टाइम मैं बीकॉम ऑनर्स करी थी श्री राम कॉलेज ऑफ कॉमर्स दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी से। उस टाइम मुझे लगा कि मुझे वैसे भी फौज ज्वाइन करनी थी, पापा से इंस्पायर्ड थी, अपनी बहन से इंस्पायर्ड थी जो ऑलरेडी फौज में है, तो मेरा पूरा मन था और मैंने अपनी मिलिट्री करियर को भी जल्दी शुरू करने का सोचा था, तो मेरे को सही अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली।
That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.